What if I told you that the moment you begin to walk this path alone, something inside you shifts forever? That the silence you once feared becomes your greatest power? That when no one else understands what's happening to you, the universe steps in to show you everything? You see, most people never truly awaken. They stay in the echo chamber of distractions, validation, and noise. But the rare few, the ones who awaken alone, they're the ones who become unbreakable. Something happens in your energy field when you're forced to rely on no one but your inner guidance. Your soul sharpens, your senses intensify, and your energy, it becomes unstoppable. This journey isn't for the weak. It's for the chosen ones who were never meant to fit in. So if you're going through this awakening alone, here are the undeniable signs that your energy is leveling up beyond anything you imagined. There comes a point in your spiritual awakening, especially when you're doing it alone, where you suddenly realize you just can't pretend anymore. You walk into a room and instantly feel your energy pulling back. A conversation starts, but your body starts to tense. A familiar friend begins venting again, and you feel this invisible wall rise inside of you. You're not being cold. You're not being rude. You're not losing interest in life. Something bigger is happening. Your energy is no longer willing to vibrate at low frequencies. It's as if your soul has upgraded without asking permission, and now your old reality no longer fits. Before this, you might have been the peacemaker, the helper, the one who tolerated, forgave, and absorbed everyone else's heaviness. You smiled through awkward silences. You entertained the shallow conversations. You sat in toxic environments because you didn't want to make others uncomfortable. But after awakening alone, something in you snaps. You don't want noise. You don't want distractions. You don't want fake connections or surface-level small talk. You crave purity, truth, depth. And your energy starts to make decisions before your mind even catches up. Your body tenses in places that used to feel safe. Your chest feels heavy around people you once loved. And your intuition screams, you don't belong here anymore. This is the first sign your energy is becoming unstoppable. Because once your frequency upgrades, you stop asking to be respected, and you start requiring it without saying a word. People notice. They say you're distant, harder to reach, different. And they're right. You've changed, because your energy now has a filter, one that blocks anything not aligned with your higher self. You no longer blend in, you glow out. When you awaken in solitude, your intuition undergoes a complete transformation. It's not just a gut feeling anymore. It becomes an internal voice, sharp and impossible to ignore. This shift happens because the distractions fall away. There's no one left to poll for opinions. No friends to validate your decisions. No group to echo your fears or hype your doubts. It's just you, and the truth rising from within. At first, it's subtle. You start predicting people's behavior before it happens. You sense when someone is lying, even if their smile is convincing. You feel the energy of a rune shift before anyone says a word. You get sudden urges to go somewhere, cancel something, or reach out to someone. And later, you find out why. What's really happening is this. Your inner guidance is turning into your dominant sense. You're no longer relying on logic or habit. You're not overanalyzing. You're listening, not to your thoughts, but to your soul. And this voice, it doesn't shout. It nudges. It whispers with clarity. It offers signals, not stories. It shows you patterns instead of problems. And the more you follow it, without second-guessing, the stronger it becomes. This is a sacred skill, a spiritual superpower. And it only strengthens when you awaken alone. Because when no one else is influencing you, your soul finally gets a clear channel to speak. This is why you started to just know things. Why your timing feels divinely orchestrated. Why your decisions feel weirdly correct, even when they make no sense to others. Your intuition isn't guessing anymore, it's leading you. And your energy is becoming unstoppable because of it. Because now, you're not walking blind. You're walking with sight beyond sight. This one may surprise you, especially if you've spent most of your life identifying as an empath, someone who feels everything. The tension in a room, the sadness in a stranger's eyes, the guilt behind someone's apology. It's like you've always been a sponge for other people's pain. But when you go through spiritual awakening alone, something inside you rewires. You start to feel other people's emotions without absorbing them. You sense sadness, but it doesn't sink into your chest. You notice someone's anger, but it doesn't hijack your peace. You witness someone's anxiety, but it doesn't live in your body anymore. What's happening is this. You've developed energetic sovereignty. Your energy no longer gets tangled in other people's emotional webs. You've walked through your own darkness. You've cried in silence. You've broken and rebuilt yourself in solitude. And now, you've become a container strong enough to hold space without losing yourself. This is incredibly rare. Most people either numb out or get overwhelmed. But you've evolved past both extremes. You can show compassion without collapsing. You can offer wisdom without overextending. You can be there for others without abandoning yourself. And people notice. They feel better around you. They open up to you. They seek your energy because it feels grounding. But here's the twist. You don't feel exhausted anymore. You're not drained after helping others. Because your energy now operates from overflow, not depletion. This is only possible when you awaken alone. Because in the solitude, you learned boundaries. You learned presence. You learned that carrying someone's pain doesn't heal them. It only burdens you. Now, your energy heals through stability, not sympathy. Through clarity, not chaos. Through vibration, not validation. And that, right there, is unstoppable. Something begins to shift that you didn't expect. Your body no longer follows the rules of the world. It starts following the rhythm of your soul. You stop being able to stick to conventional routines. Wake up at 7, coffee by 8, work by 9. These patterns suddenly feel unnatural, almost robotic. And not because you're lazy, not because you're disorganized, but because your energy now flows in cycles that have nothing to do with clocks. You wake up at 3:17 a.m. for no reason, eyes wide open, heart racing, as if the universe just dropped a download into your system. You feel waves of clarity in the middle of the night, and the next morning, you're not even tired. Then there are other days where your body begs you to rest, even though the world says go. You crave silence when the world gets loud. You crave stillness when others are speeding up. And it's not just mental. Your body physically pulls you out of alignment when you try to force productivity. You feel tension in your muscles. You feel nauseous when you ignore your intuition. You get sleepy around people who drain your light. This is not fatigue. It's your energy system talking back. When you awaken alone, you become deeply attuned to this voice inside your body, the one that's been muffled by years of conditioning. You begin to understand that your true self doesn't thrive on caffeine, alarms, and deadlines. It thrives on flow, intuition, and rhythm. And so you start to move differently. You walk when you feel guided. You rest when your energy dips. You speak only when your words carry charge. You eat foods your body suddenly craves, and avoid things it once tolerated. Your very breath feels deeper, more deliberate. You're not just surviving the day anymore, you're sensing with it. To others, this looks like unpredictability, but to you, it's the first time you've ever been truly aligned. You're not lazy, you're tuned in. You're not avoiding responsibility, you're honoring resonance. This is how your energy becomes unstoppable. You stop being dictated by systems that were never designed for you in the first place. You start living from a space of deep, sacred permission. You listen, you trust, you act, only when your inner current says go. And when you live like this long enough, something incredible happens. You start accomplishing more than you ever did before, but not through hustle, through harmony, not through effort, through energetic alignment. You've stepped out of time and into timelessness. That's what awakening alone teaches you. That's when you realize your body isn't just a vessel, it's a sacred compass, and it's been waiting for you to finally listen. Something magical is unfolding, and it's not random. You start seeing repeating numbers at exactly the moment you need reassurance. You think of someone, and they call. You feel pulled to a place, and something important happens there. But here's the difference. These aren't just signs. They're responses. Your inner alignment is triggering external validation from the universe. You've stepped so far into your own energy that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This doesn't happen when you're distracted by the crowd. It happens when you walk alone, eyes open, heart present. When you trust your path even when no one claps for you. When you keep showing up for your spirit, even when you feel forgotten. These synchronicities are your reward, not for being perfect, but for being authentic, for being brave enough to listen to the voice inside. Your energy has reached a point where the universe begins conspiring in your favor, not in theory, but in practice. And once that starts, you realize you're not alone. You never were. You were just in training for this moment all along. One of the most mind-blowing signs of an unstoppable energy field is this. You stop chasing and start attracting. Opportunities, people, messages, breakthroughs, they come to you without effort. Why? Because your energy has become magnetic. When you awaken alone, you stop broadcasting desperation. You stop vibrating in lack. You no longer need to be seen, chosen, or validated, because you've already chosen yourself. And the universe recognizes that. Your grounded presence emits a frequency that calls in what matches you and repels what doesn't. You'll notice that some people start avoiding you. That's not a bad thing. It's energetic sorting. But others will find you. The ones who've been searching for someone just like you. You'll notice that conversations go deeper. Eye contact lingers. Silence becomes rich. Everything starts to align, not because you forced it, but because you embodied it. This kind of magnetism can't be faked. It's the result of becoming whole within yourself, something that can only happen when you awaken alone. This one is subtle, but powerful. As you progress in your solo awakening, people begin to respond to your aura differently. Some are drawn in, feeling safe and inspired. Others seem uncomfortable in your presence, even if you say nothing. That's because your aura has become active. It no longer passively reflects your mood. It projects strength, clarity, and spiritual depth. It becomes a field of energy that does two things simultaneously: protects you and reveals others. This energetic shield isn't about ego, it's about resonance. When you've walked alone long enough, your aura develops a kind of frequency signature that others can feel. It reveals who's aligned and who's hiding something. And you don't even have to say a word. Your presence alone becomes the filter. You'll notice people apologizing without you confronting them. You'll notice that chaos seems to avoid you. You'll feel less need to defend yourself, because your aura already did. This only happens when you face the storm by yourself, when you stop hiding from your power, when you realize that protection doesn't come from walls, it comes from alignment. So here's what they don't tell you. Awakening alone might be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's also the most powerful, because once you stop looking for light outside of you, you begin to realize you are the source. Your energy is no longer reactive, it's directive. It doesn't just survive, it creates. You're not just waking up, you're activating. And the universe has been waiting for you to reach this point all along. Don't run from the solitude. Embrace it, because what you build in silence becomes louder than any words ever could. Your energy is now unstoppable, so move accordingly.